Xavier will let us know which are the important ones and then to be watching out for. I'll explain a bit about it. It's already been covered in the course mostly. And yeah, and the top 10 pairs and what else? Yeah, okay, we put it all together. And so all this goes up onto our NewsWatch website so that you've got some idea on the major things to keep an eye on all the time, the news that's coming up for the week, stuff that you have to watch and avoid, and then the pairs that you want to pick on a weekly basis and or a bit more specific on a daily basis, and some others that aren't quite as jumpy but don't make quite as much money. So we go through all that today. And if you have any questions at all, please ask. We put these scrolling parties on for you, so use them as much as possible. Otherwise we're just sort of flailing around. So before we kick off, Eusebio, any critical stuff that we need to be aware of, any long-term?
No, nothing new and nothing to withdraw from the list.
Okay. Okay, and these don't change that much over the months, so I'll just leave these sitting up here. Is Italy really?
Yeah, because we never know what may. Yeah, we never know what may happen in Italy in terms of government, because it's a very unstable country, and all
Yep.
the QE taken by ECB seems to try to favor Italy with its amount of debt. In fact, this is why Italy must still be observed very, very carefully. Everything may happen with possible big consequence on the European Union with Italy.
Okay, so you're using this as a, excuse me, like a canary in the mine shaft. If something bad happens to Italy, then it's likely to impact the rest of Europe. Okay, thank you.
Indeed.
Okay, okay, so let's hit the NewsWatch itself and get that out of the road. So I'll just pull this off for the moment. Okay, Eusebio, go.
Okay, let's start. So on Sunday, I will monitor the Aussie MI inflation gauge month-over-month.
Okay.
Then on Monday, generally on the Monday there are very few news, but let's check. So we have the pound construction PMI major, and we have, I will monitor the US dollar ISM non-manufacturing PMI.
Okay, I've marked the pound as with care in the H4 column. It just means be careful because the pound is still undergoing Brexit maneuvers, and over the last year when some news came out on the pound, it would spike 40 pips in either direction. So just be really careful about when the news comes out about the pound. Okay, thanks, Eusebio.
In the present context of the epidemic, I will monitor the CAD Bank of Canada Business Outlook Survey, indeed. I will monitor also when it will be released the Kiwi and ZIER business confidence.
Oh, okay.
To have an idea if the business, the economy is restarting correctly.
It is. It's good.
Yeah. And the yen, so to monitor the yen 30-year bond auction.
Okay.
And that is for Monday, so it will be a quiet day normally.
Yeah, there's very little news this week.
Yeah.
A bit surprised.
Yeah. Then a big one on Tuesday with the Aussie with the cash rate and the Reserve Bank of Australia rate statement, so a big one.
Okay. Right.
Then let's see, we have the pound Halifax HPI month-over-month major. Then we have the Kiwi GDT price index, major higher time frames.
Yep.
We have Quarles peaking.
It's been a week, Eusebio. I have to remember everything.
Due to speak about the Financial Stability Board and the Exchequer Club luncheon webinar. No, let's forget. And we will have the yen current account, so major higher time frames.
Okay. And on Wednesday?
On Wednesday, we will have, let's see, I will monitor when it will be released the European Union economic forecasts.
Okay.
Then we have to monitor the US dollar crude oil inventories and the US dollar 10-year bond auction.
Yep.
And I will monitor the two Chinese CPI and PPI year over year.
Okay. Scrolling down.
Yeah. On Thursday, let's see. The Eurogroup meeting, I don't care. They speech to say nothing, usually. I will still monitor the US dollar unemployment claims. Then monitor the US dollar natural gas storage and 30-year bond auction.
Yep.
And that's it for Thursday. And on Friday, we have a big one, which is the card employment change and unemployment rate, which is the equivalent of the USD non-farm payroll. And that's it for Friday. The market for the Forex at least was rather choppy, so for almost all the pairs. And by the way, it will be highly probable that I will not produce the BIOS on Monday. I suspect Monday will be also a very quiet day, and so I will take off that day and will make a lot of administrative tasks I have to do.
Okay. So foreign direct investment is nothing you say,
No.
And what else? Okay, so here goes my incantation. So the reason that we go through these is if you've noticed, sometimes when you're trading, you'll suddenly get a spike, and this can be caused by news coming out on that currency or other currencies. So if there's, let me see, there's very little going on this week. If there's an item that's got major in it, then it applies to anything from all the time frames, or sorry, from the 5-minute time frame upwards. And let's back up on this. This applies to the smaller time frames, anything with a major on it. And if it's got major, then be careful. Don't place any orders 1 hour before the news comes out, and get out of the trade within half an hour of the news coming out. This is because when it comes out, and if there's a surprise, like there's a 20% variation between the numbers or a 0.2% variation in the percentages when the news comes out, these things over here, like if there's a 20% variation in the new lines, it could cause things to jump, or if there's a 0.2% variation in the money supply, it could cause a jump, like a spike up and down or something anomalous with the currency. Then this can impact your account, and you need to be able to have money in your account in order to be able to trade. So that's why we advise you not to trade through the news. Yeah, if I'd had something like this as a tool when I first started, I wouldn't have lost so much money by blithely just carrying on trading. The news doesn't appear to cause that much in the way of jumps these days. Things tend to be quite smooth, especially with the non-farm payroll. Non-farm payroll used to be really good for sort of like 100 to 200 pip spikes in both directions. These days I can barely find it on a chart most times. Also, the non-farm payroll comes out on the US dollar, and the US dollar, the euro, and the yen are regarded as the big currencies. So anything impacting these guys can impact every other currency pair that's out there. So when the non-farm payroll comes out, it would pretty much make every currency pair jump around the place. Like I said, I don't see it happening that much. But nevertheless, if you're getting a major news coming out on like the yen down here, the current account, then no matter what pair you're in, treat it as if the news is coming out on that particular pair and get out of it. If the news is coming out on something small like the Kiwi and you're in the euro dollar, then just be aware that the Kiwi news is coming out, but you don't have to sort of run away and stop trading. Just be a bit more careful, maybe move your stops closer. If you've got lots of scale-ins for the standard people, just be careful when it comes out. It's unlikely to impact something like the euro pound or the euro dollar or something that doesn't have the kiwi in it. But it can still cause surprises, because I have seen news come out on the kiwi which caused the pound dollar to jump. It was a very unusual. I can't remember what it was anymore. It was about a year or so ago. But it was unusual, and it caused a ripple right throughout the market. So the smaller currencies can still impact. The pound is a bit strange in that it straddles the small pairs and the large pairs. So these days, who knows what's happening with the pound? They're still going through Brexit. Like I said, be careful, because any news coming out can cause it to, did last year cause it to jump up and down sort of like 40 to 80 pips just on a whim, and then carry on. But by then you've lost your account, or some of your account money. So we want to protect the account money, not necessarily your profits, but the money that you trade with. If you don't have anything to trade with, you can't trade, full stop. Okay, the big ones, Cling Major, ones that Eusebio would stay and wait up for. Same things apply, but these could cause really big movements. I remember once when he told me, I didn't stay up for it, he waited up 7 hours for yen news to come out, and the yen is pretty, okay, they've given an exact time here, but sometimes they say tentative. So Eusebio waited around 7 hours for the yen, Bank of Japan to make its announcement before he pounced on it. And do you remember how many pips you made out of that one, Eusebio?
Oh no, I don't remember, but a lot of pips, because the market was moving. And this is something which is interesting to understand in the market. We know that, just to make a small comment, Chris, when a central bank makes a decision, this decision may be, now the 337R Boldef was with the referendum for the Brexit, so in 2015, January 15 or 16. So when a central bank makes an important decision, this has always a big impact in the market, and sometimes for several hours or even several days. And in the past, now it's a bit different, but in the past, whenever the Bank of Tokyo was making an announcement in terms of an interest rates change or QE, it was well announced in a very clear way, and we knew way in advance what the movement would have been, in fact. And this was made intentionally by the governor of the Bank of Japan. And now 9 out of 10 times it was working very, very nicely. But nowadays it's a bit changing. But anyway, we still have to pay attention to these major decisions made by central bank, because when we understand their logic, then we have a good idea if they want to have the big traders, the big banks, the big hedge funds on their side or not, or if they want to manipulate the market, in fact. And so this is why sometimes it's very, very interesting to pay attention to in fact, not sometimes, but always to pay attention to their decisions and see their impact in the market.
Okay, thanks, Eusebio. Okay, I think I've hammered on that enough so far. If there's any other questions, let us know. Hey, Edmund, nice to see you. And when I said, when we're talking about a lot of pips, a lot of pips for something like one of Eusebio's big movements, we're talking hundreds and or thousands of pips in one trade. So Eusebio, when he gets going, is a bit awesome on that side of things. Okay, have to toot his horn every now and then, otherwise he gets grumpy. Okay, so we've been through the news. If you have any questions about it, or if you think we've made a mistake, please let us know, because every now and then I will test you and make a purposeful mistake. So let me just put that out there. And what else? Okay, hey Brian, nice to see you. And okay, nothing there. So the next bit of the NewsWatch we'll go through is, I'll just bring this up here, the top 10 pairs for trading. So one of the things that we kept getting asked, and Eusebio came up with this idea, was what are the best pairs to trade? And as some of you would have noticed in your homework, so I was saying, hey, don't pick out the Aussie CAD or the US CAD, I think. This is a list of the 28 major pairs that we trade, and they're listed by dollar range. So I'll show you how I sort it out, but they're not listed by daily pip range, but by the dollars. So some pips are worth more than others, and by picking the dollars, it means that you are picking up the low-hanging fruit-ish and are able to sort of make more money for the time that you spend on your trading. So the pound yen makes about 1,400 bucks a day, and the Aussie Kiwi, very small, makes 400, well, has a range of about $400. So if you're trying to trade it, you're going to get very small movements out of the Aussie Kiwi compared to the pound yen. So go for the pound yen, which is going to produce more money. However, there are trade-offs. It's a bit more volatile, and it can be a bit spikier, so it can be harder to trade. So because over the last few weeks since the crash kicked in and coronavirus, some of these have been really volatile, just stepping up and stepping down as opposed to being reasonable smooth moves. So also bringing in these ones here, which don't make as much money but still move reasonably nicely. And I think I overdid that, and we should be, there's only a couple now because the ranges are getting a bit smaller, you say there.
Sorry, Chris?
The smooth movers, there's only a couple this week, down to 850.
Yeah.
Do you want to extend it?
Yeah, you can extend the list up to, let's say, the Kiwi US dollar.
Okay, that's quite a way. Okay, so it's our old range back. Okay, if I do this, where's the color? I think that's it. Okay. Okay, so this shows the top 10 best movers that we've got so far, and over the last few wee whiles, let me stretch this out. So this was in 2019. You can see that the top of the range started off at 1,300, which is about where we are today, 1,300, and then shrank right down to around about $800 average daily range for quite some time during Brexit. So this is March, June, July, September, kind of going backwards here. And then it got wider and wider coming up to December, and I thought, woohoo, coming into 2020 is going to be really good because markets are getting busier again. There's less compression, less consolidation zones, start making some more money, and we did for a little while. And then the crash kicked in, so things got tighter, and then it really zoomed out during the crash as things were just galloping all over the place. And then it's sort of stabilizing here around about 1,600. That's, oh, it's dropped down hugely. So we're down to 1,300 now. So it's beginning to compress again. Sorry, for some reason I thought it was still around about the old range. Okay, so it's squeezing in and out. Hopefully the ranges get a bit better because it makes trading a bit more interesting and not quite so tight, but that's why you need the precision for the entries and the setups and the exits, so that you can get into a trade precisely and get out precisely, because there's not that much room to sort of fluff around with. The moving averages have crossed, so I'm going to get in here and glibly wave the mouse over the entry point. These days you have to know exactly where you're going to be entering, so that's why we're so there's so much details in the max courses. Okay, so here's the top 10. Here's the smooth movers, and I'll just pull these out so that I remember. And what we do now is we recommend that you trade these through the week, or maybe these ones if you want sort of something less stressful but not producing as much money. But what we'll do is we'll work on this top 10 here, and instead of trying to watch, one of the things with trading is you can become really overloaded. So don't try and, yeah, David, I do. It's early morning here. One of the things is not to overload yourself. So just pick 1 or 2 pairs to actually monitor. And people always have trouble trying to figure out which pairs they want. So rather than just hand you, hey, here, look at these 10 here, there's an easier way of doing this, slightly easier, in that we as in Eusebio, I haven't done it this week. Sorry, I just pulled this out. Match the pairs here up against the news on each day. Sorry, and so that you've got a pick on each day of less pairs to go for. So the top 2 here are the ones that you would look at primarily, and if neither of these top pairs and none of these top pairs are moving that well, then you've got a second choice down here of something to go to. And if you don't like any of them, then you're welcome to use whatever you like, but these are sort of the best pairs. So, Eusebio.
Okay.
Jabbering.
And never ever be attached to one specific pair. For example, Dave, you said I like the Aussie yen, okay, but never be attached to one specific pair, because the best pair for you today may be the worst tomorrow. And so what is important is not it is not important the origin of the pips you make in a trade. It's the fact that you have got a movement, a trend, and so attached to the pairs who have the highest probability to make a trend. The origin of the pips doesn't matter. Never be attached to a specific instrument. So have a larger mindset in order to see where the opportunities may be. And this is why we do all that job, all that work every week, in fact. Okay, let's start. So let's go.
Okay, just another thing about don't get attached. Also, don't get attached to your chart setup. Like I have my chart set up so that they all look nice, and then at the beginning of the week I have to go through, and it is a chore. It takes about an hour, but I have to reset things up with the new what do you call it? Watch top 10 pairs list all over the show. So there is work to be done with this. So don't get attached to it and just stick with the same things that you've always used. Keep up to date with what we're doing. You might notice that the pairs keep changing each week here. There's a lot more euro coming into the pairs these days than there were at the beginning, in the middle of last year. So things evolve and change, and if you don't adapt, you're going to get crushed by everybody else. So, okay, Eusebio. Sunday, what we're looking for are majors, and on a particular day up to 5 p.m. New York time. So the only one that we've got nothing on Sunday, and on Monday up to 5 p.m., which is the end of the New York session, we have only got the pound.
Okay. So on Monday we will have the pound yen or pound US dollar.
Okay. And let me just create this out. I think I did. Yep, there it is.
Pound yen or pound US dollar.
Yep.
Then we'll have the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie.
Okay.
And then we can take the pound Swiss.
Ooh, that's new.
Yep.
Just the pound Swiss.
Yes.
Okay. So done. Right, next one. So from 5 p.m. on Monday, we look for majors now. So from this time onwards, we've got nothing. And on Tuesday, we have the Aussie.
So the Aussie, okay.
And the pound.
And the pound. pound, yeah.
And the Kiwi. And this,
And
just
the
for people,
Kiwi.
the GDT, it's tentative, so it can appear in the US afternoon as well as US overnight. So we put it in both of them. Okay, Eusebio.
Okay, so for the first choice, we will have the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie.
Yep.
Then the pound yen or pound US dollar. And then
quite a bit of lag on. Yep. Sorry.
Yeah. And then the pound Swiss or euro Kiwi or euro Aussie. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so leftovers from Tuesday are the Kiwi, as we're not too sure when that comes out.
So we have to keep the Kiwi indeed.
The yen.
The yen, so yen,
That's it.
yen, and that's it. Okay, so the first pair will be, so the pound yen or Aussie yen. This is not usual.
No.
Then, the pound yen or Aussie yen.
Yep. Okay, don't. Yep.
Then we will have the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie.
Okay.
And then we will have the euro yen or pound US dollar.
Okay. Euro yen or pound dollar.
Yes.
Okay. I'm noticing there's quite a bit of lag on I'm listening to this through my laptop, but I'm also secondarily listening to it through my presentation machine. And there's about a second delay. It's quite weird. There's nothing processing on my other machine. Excuse me while I just try and see if I can get this thing a bit faster. Okay, go Eusebio. So,
Okay.
leftovers from Wednesday, there's nothing. And I don't think there's anything for Thursday. Yeah. So nothing
this
on
means
Wednesday.
that we will have for the first pair the pound yen or pound US dollar.
Yep.
Then the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie.
Yep.
And then the pound Swiss.
Okay. And for Friday, we have nothing from Thursday. And we've got the CAD.
The CAD. So no impact with the CAD, so we don't care. So you take exactly the same choice as Thursday.
Okay. So just to reiterate, these are the pairs that we recommend that you watch for on a daily basis, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So they change each day. Don't get stuck with what you did yesterday. Just make sure you're up to date with it. And if you don't want to trade these ones and want something a little bit smoother, then you can pull out these ones and trade them. You can have a look at these. And these will all go up on our website. Excuse me. maxtradingsystem.com NewsWatch list, and they'll be listed. So let me just make this a bit smaller. Which way is that going? Okay, so we've got the top 10 list up here, and then we've got the daily ones down here, and I'll update this list as well for the easier traders, perhaps. Okay, Dave, thanks for coming in at 4:30 a.m. Not bad. Don't know where you live, but pretty early. Baldev, agreed, I only trade pairs from the NewsWatch list, and you definitely get a move of the day from the list. Actually more than one, so it's more than enough choice for it. Yeah. Good, Baldev. Good. Thank you. And Baldeb's trading quite nicely. He's in Australia, slightly better time zone than I am, and is doing really nicely. Okay, if there's any other questions or you think of something later, please ask. But in about 3 or 4 hours, I'll have this up on the website. And now that you're part of the Max community, to the new people, I'll just send out an email to say the NewsWatch is ready, so that it's updated for you. The other thing that's supplied each weekend as well, I don't have it sort of set up here, are the price levels. So at the bottom of the email that I send out with this video, there will be a link for you to join the max price levels, so we can get 4 free price levels each week. That will give you an idea on where price is likely to go or bounce off of or sort of stall around. Eusebio produces those each week. He also has a subscription service for about another 20 to 30 pairs or markets, because he also includes oil and gold and some of the indices in there. And there's also a little video on how to draw the price levels, but you'll see them pop up as we go. If you want to know a bit more about them, just ask, but there's in the link that I'll send through in the Scrolling Party video email, the video there will show you, the link will take you to a video which will show you a little bit about the indices and how to put them on your charts. Dave in Perth. No wonder. Okay, we'll take things easy. Yeah, I was going the other direction. I was thinking you're in Fiji for some reason. Yep. Yeah, we're pushing the darkness away. I hear you guys have got it good over there in Coronaville. That's good. It's really interesting on COVID, watching how different, like the US is divided into states, and each one has its own way of dealing with the disease. Similarly, and they're all different, and so they're all getting different results. And Australia has done something similar, as has Europe. All the different countries have done different things. So just interesting. You think of Australia as being one mass, or the US as being one mass, and actually they're both kind of a whole pile of little countries all doing their own little things. And it's interesting to see which ones work and which ones don't. Takes a while to figure that out, though. Okay. Okay, so if there's any other questions about the news, let me know. And in the meantime, I'll just save this and we'll move on to a bit more. And if you have any particular questions that you wanted taken up, or you found something in a chart that you didn't understand, or you want some part of our training explained, just let us know and we'll go through it. These are for you.